Hi everyone, my name is Mikko. I'm an Australian transgender woman who's a little bit alternative and a lot nerdy. Today I thought I might share a little about my experience with HRT as a transgender woman, including the process of getting prescribed the medication, what changes I've experienced from taking feminizing hormones, and the side effects that I've noticed since I started my HRT journey. Please note that I live in Australia and the information that I give here might not be relevant to your circumstances. If you are unaware, HRT stands for Hormone Replacement Therapy. It is something that a lot, but not all, transgender people use to feminize or masculinize their bodies, whichever way they're transitioning. However, HRT isn't just for binary people transitioning from one gender to the other. Some non-binary and gender non-conforming people also use HRT to masculinize or feminize their bodies. When in the context of gender-affirming care for transgender people, HRT is generally considered as part of a medical transition. In some places, such as Western Australia where I live, HRT is enough of a medical transition to enable you to legally change your gender marker, at least at the moment, in January 2025 that is. I think this goes without saying, but HRT is not just for transgender people. It is also something that people use to relieve the symptoms of menopause, halting the process of hormonal hair loss, maintaining muscle strength, treating some forms of cancer, birth control, and I'm sure there are also other applications that I haven't listed. My HRT journey essentially started when I met my current GP for the first time. I briefly touched on this topic in my first video, so some of the things I mention here I might have already talked about. She explained the process of informed consent to me, which is a process that is used here in Australia. I know it's used in other countries around the world, but I couldn't tell you which ones off the top of my head. In a nutshell, informed consent is a process where the GP provides all the necessary information to the patient so that they can make a voluntary decision regarding a medical treatment or procedure. There's a bit more to it than that, but that's sort of a basic idea of the process. Part of the process also involved me having some blood tests done to check where my hormone levels were before starting treatment, and also some general health related tests such as cholesterol and blood sugar levels. Once I was provided all the necessary information, all the tests had come back and my GP was satisfied with the results, she was able to prescribe me with HRT. So there's a few different ways that you can administer HRT. For feminizing hormones, there are pills, gels, patches, implants and injections. I think that's all that there is, but that's all that comes to mind at the moment. Not all of these are available everywhere either. I was informed by my doctor that injections don't really exist here in Australia for estrogen. For masculinizing, I'm aware of injections and pills, but as I'm not directly involved in that sphere, I'm not confident in saying that that's all there is for testosterone. A HRT treatment doesn't typically only consist of estrogen either. At least in feminizing treatment, that is. We also typically use an anti-androgen or testosterone blocker. There's also progesterone, which some trans women opt to use as well. Personally, I take a pill form of estrogen and I take a pill called spironolactone. I am considering asking my doctor about getting an implant, but I need to do more research on that course of action. Feminizing hormones can cause a number of effects on the body, and from personal experience, I can confirm many of these. Firstly, your skin becomes really soft. This is one of the first things that generally happen, normally within the first couple of months. I have had quite a few people comment on my skin and how soft it has become since transitioning, I guess because it is a fairly noticeable change. Your muscle mass can decrease as well as your strength. I certainly noticed a significant decrease in the amount that I could lift. I was actually quite surprised at how noticeably weaker I became. Redistribution of body fat is one that I think generally gets misinterpreted. I don't believe that the existing fat that your body is holding necessarily gets redistributed from one place to another, but rather new fat that your body stores will be distributed to more feminine places such as the hips, and buttocks. I can personally attest to this as I never had a butt before transitioning, and now I do. Decreased libido is definitely something that I've experienced. I wouldn't say I had a super high libido before, but I certainly had pretty much none after starting HRT. I didn't even want to think about sex most of the time, to be honest. But in saying that, I have to say it has come back somewhat, be it in a different way. I don't randomly get aroused the way I used to, and I don't even get morning wood anymore. I kind of have to work to get in the mood, but I certainly do get there now. And talking about libido, you have to talk about function too. Things don't really function the same down there anymore. I just mentioned about not getting morning wood anymore, but in general, things don't seem to get as hard anymore. It gets to like 80% of what it used to get to, I'd say. Also, you stop producing sperm. What you discharge turns from the thick milky white of old to a really thin, clear liquid that has no velocity behind it and has a lot less volume. On a different note, however, you do start growing breasts. They start as little lumps just under your nipples and slowly grow into proper breasts. Just a warning though, your new formed boobs will hurt a lot, all the time, for ages. I'm a year into HRT and mine still hurt if I hit them or hug someone too hard. Anecdotally, I've heard that this can last for a few years until your breasts are fully developed. Also, your nipples and areola get bigger too. Another thing is your body hair will likely become thinner and grow slower. It won't stop growing completely, but it will get significantly thinner. Pattern balding typically stops as well, however I wouldn't count on any lost hair from balding to start regrowing. I have heard some people say that some of theirs has grown back, but I have heard conflicting stories about this. I would have to say though, one of the biggest and most notable changes has to be mentally. I have become much more in touch with my emotions and I cry so much more now than I ever did as a man. I feel as though I am properly connected to myself now, not like there was some missing link or something misaligned in my brain like before. And I also can't talk about spironolactone without talking about the side effects either. I would have to say the biggest side effect that I have experienced with Spiro is peeing. As Spiro is a diuretic, just like caffeine, it makes you pee. A lot. You need to ensure that you are keeping up your water intake while taking it, as Spiro will make your body produce more urine, so you need to ensure you stay hydrated. There are a lot more potential side effects as well, which I'm not going to go into in depth, but they can include things like dizziness, fatigue, headaches, cramps, and lots more. Your doctor will explain the side effects of any medication that you are prescribed. If you're unsure, make sure that you ask them. I think that will do for this video. Please comment if you would like to add any personal experiences you might have from your HRT journey, or if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, be kind to yourself, and have a wonderful day.